All right, how's it going out there, folks? Welcome back here to Monday night. It is the Earthmaster out here, about 11:27 p.m. California time here, October 28, 2024. Getting super close here to Halloween coming up on Thursday. Goodness, spooky, spooky. Latest activity here on the Earthquake 3D Globe shows a 3.0. Looks like underneath the North Island area of New Zealand. One of the latest quakes there on the globe. So let's take a look here at the globe, see what we have for a newer activity. And I can tell you, things have been somewhat quiet out here today, with the largest magnitude only being a 4.9 here across the Indonesia Islands area. Of course, we have that volcano there around Mexico, spreading up some volcanic ash there. Volcanic, I guess they call it ash there, shooting across the area of Florida. I've seen an article put out here recently of Florida expecting some potential ash either falling or up in the atmosphere there as the wind stream and the jet stream tends to take it over towards that area. But it's been a little quiet. 4.8 follows that 4.9, a little bit further south here, fairly deep earthquake. Of course, the deeper earthquake out here triggers the surface adjustment, and that following quake there, following the deeper movement, was over here across the Indonesia Islands area. So things are still bouncing back and forth here between deep, shallow adjustment here across the entire region. The western areas of the Pacific Plate have gone absolutely quiet, and that's the area, maybe a 4.1 up there across the area of Russia on the Kamchatka Trench. But as you can see across the Japan area, Izu Trench, Mariana Trench, Taiwan, all awfully quiet. That's not going to be the case for for too much longer. One earthquake way up north here in the northern end of the Cascadia subduction zone. That's going to be a 4.1 positioned right about here. Let's go ahead and check out tremor. See what we got here for Cascadia tremor activity tonight. I'm getting better, but I'm not 100% back to normal. It sounds like I have a duck call or something stuck in my throat. If I really wanted to, I could probably make a duck sound, but I really better not do that. Missy Mimi's might have me committed out here. A little bit of movement there underneath the southwestern area of Oregon. We're looking at 76 epicenters of tremor. Not a big deal. But as we've seen here in the last couple weeks, any elevated tremor activity out here will add further strain upstream. And then that's when we see elevated seismic activity across, it could be anywhere out here across this area of the Cascadia. So we'll continue to watch that. Northern California, not a whole lot going on there. Southern California, nothing above the 2.5 level aside from that movement early this morning near the Lompoc area, 3.6. Aside from that, as you can see here, things are awfully quiet, very quiet, and it's a global scale as well. Well, there we go. I just spoke that into existence, right? The largest earthquake so far in the last 24 hours, a 5-pointer just coming in here as I am doing this update. Remember, I said a lot of deeper activity, surface adjustment. Got to watch out in between here. But this one here is pretty deep, 181 miles deep. Excuse me. If I've been saying kilometers, I apologize. I'm just so used to using that in my scientific studies and geology terms. But 181 miles here into the trench zone south of Port Villa. It's a South New Hebrides Trench. Decent subduction zone out here that can see some pretty large earthquake activity. But this is another deep quake, indicating here to me and telling me that some big-time shallow, larger adjustments about ready to take place out here in the area. And again, I would probably mark it roughly about here to the eastern area along this plate boundary. It's back and forth activity here. Oh, I'll be glad when this goes away. It's affected my voice, not really my mindset, but at the same time, I'm listening to my voice, so getting self-conscious here. It's like, wait a minute, what am I sounding like here? Do I need to sound deeper or shallower? I could probably do something like this, but probably not good. So, okay, it's not comedy night out here, but try to get through it. All right, it just won't go away, folks. I'm telling you, it's a horrible upper respiratory issue right now. Okay, so nothing going on major across the states here. Someone asked me how come I don't talk about the Utah stations out here, Utah activity. Hey, that goes to show you I read every single comment out here, including yours with the Utah earthquake comment. Utah is a seismically active area, and this is the last 30 days of activity. There's really not a whole lot of any type of unusual activity out there. If you look at the 2.5 map and above, Utah, well, there's really not anything to talk about in terms of 2.5 and above for Utah. So unless we see any type of major seismic swarm, any unusual activity out here, and I look at this map quite a bit, there's always, some movement up here through the Cedar City area, St. George, up into Richfield, and you can follow the mountain range up here through the Salt Lake City area. The only area that I've been watching here recently is around the Bluebell Study area. And it's been a couple months since we've seen a considerable swarm out here. Only about 6 earthquakes here in the last 30 days of very small magnitude. So there's really, honestly, not a lot to talk about in Utah. I do have quite a few viewers out there. And, oh man, I was just watching this morning here while I was eating some breakfast on YouTube, a Utah dash cam bad drivers video. And goodness, is there some there's some crazy drivers out there in Utah. A lot of road rage out there. Goodness, I thought California was bad. But Utah looks like there's a lot of folks out there in a hurry. Not for sure why. There's some beautiful scenery out there in Utah to take advantage of on the road to work or just in general out there. I enjoy driving through Utah when I'm heading out there through the area. All right, nothing going on through Yellowstone. Let's just double check that tonight. I'm trying, folks. I'm trying. Halloween show coming up on Sunny 105.7 FM out of Chico, California. So we'll be better by then, right? I hope, or else it's going to be a very spooky DJ Halloween show. Little small earthquake. Right here, it looks like across the area of. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? What happened there? I didn't close that out. Somebody did. It's a little odd here. Little small earthquake around the Grant Village area, but even so, that doesn't even look like it showed up on any other seismograph station. So that may be a little bit of a technical glitch there. Not a whole lot going on through Yellowstone, folks. This has been one area of decreasing seismic activity here, I would say, in the past year and a half, 2 years. We haven't seen any major seismic activity. In that explosion that happened back earlier this year, that blew up a boardwalk out here, it was a geyser activity. Got to remember, this area sees a lot of rainfall, a lot of snowfall. It seeps into the ground where it's obviously heated below, and there's no elevated seismic activity, no elevated heated areas below. It just happens to be, you get these steam pockets out there, and occasionally, if you cook an egg in the microwave, that's a similar type of scenario. You get those steam pockets. It may look good once you peel it, but inside the white part, before you get to the yolk, there's these little steam pockets that can build up and pop right in your mouth, and it's not good. I've had it happen to me. And that's what happens there across Yellowstone. But the GPS stations out here, they're all going down. No elevated seismic activity. This is one area, if someone were to fearmonger, they would have to come up with some, they would have to think hard, because there's not a whole lot of news out here, not a whole lot of geological activity happening out here across Yellowstone National Park. And that's the truth. That's the facts out there. Everything's pretty quiet across Yellowstone National Park. Facts there. One Oklahoma earthquake up here outside of the Cherokee area. A little 2.2. Let's see what we got out there across the northern Oklahoma area. Well, I already see it. Folks. Look at these little oil tanks here, oil pads lined up all across these roads here. So obviously we got some stress building out here across the oil fields of Oklahoma. Beautiful state of Oklahoma out there in the oil fields outside of Cherokee. Outside of Woodward, it looks like as well. Nothing major going on out here across Texas. Got the typical earthquake country. It's sad to think, right, that earthquake country is now anywhere there's oil fields out here. New Madrid seismic zone, pretty quiet. Again, our latest earthquake here, a 5.0. This could trigger a swarm of earthquake activity out here. You never know. By the time this earthquake video is published and updated there on YouTube, things could already be set into motion out here. All it takes is one decent earthquake out here in between certain areas that could trigger a domino effect of earthquake activity out here. But we'll see what happens. Right now, a 5-pointer across the Vanuatu area. Space weather activity out here. Elevated still. Look at the proton event there for about 4 days now. We've been just getting hammered with elevated protons there. Charged protons. They're being shot off from the sun, affecting the areas of the Earth, mainly the polar regions out here, and those that are sensitive to certain conditions out there. That should continue for a little bit. I mean, we've seen a number of M flares out here, and X flare activity here in the last few days. Elevated flare threat at 30% chance, M flare at 75%, C flare 99% chance. So let's see what we have flaring out here right now across the sun. Watching a very interesting area out here on the northeastern limb of the sun that's got some very bright features indicating some currently ongoing background flaring activity. So this is the area that's produced some M flare activity recently. Pretty complex. It does show a little complexity there, but back behind that, look at that. Another larger, more complex sunspot area out there. Let me take a look here at the far side watch. And so that's going to be 3848 here. That is peeking around the bend. 3848 is a sunspot that was out here last time, a few weeks back. Now it's coming around the bend, and it is a large area that's going to be turning into the Earth-directed view here soon. And it looks a little fancy there, folks, if I can say that. There's the older image. The newer image here showing that sunspot creeping around the northeastern limb of the sun. And it's a large one, so that's going to further amplify the conditions out here as we go about our week. I'm trying different levels of voice frequency to just hopefully get through this, folks. I mean, it's crazy. All right, so separation here. Although we're getting a little bit of popcorn, a little bit of popcorn seismic activity, or solar activity, I should say, between the separation. So we'll watch that. It looks like it's grown a little bit. Not too concerned with this area. Really, this area is actually weakened a little bit as well. So I'm really not too concerned with this area in terms of solar flare. Maybe around this newer area. Got some intermixing there of the colors on opposite sides of their polarity. That's separated. Close proximity here and close proximity of magnetic structure there on those two sunspots creeping around the northeastern limb. So that will further amplify our solar flare threat here in the days ahead. Of course, that solar storm dud, it's like one of those fireworks you want to light up on the 4th of July, right? And it's just like, that's it. $30 gone. Or maybe it could even be $100 gone just like that. But that was a complete dud of a forecast there on the Space Weather Prediction Center, because supposedly that was a full halo, massive CME, partially Earth directed, and it completely failed. A little bit of uptick around the 4 range, but that was about it. So we'll see what the forecast here has in store for us. We do have, a couple different sunspots here that we got to watch here in the coming days. All right, Storm Prediction Center. We do have some severe weather creeping about. I'm using those words creeping about here. We're getting closer to Halloween. Tornado activity in October. Yes, we get tornado activity in there in Oklahoma, Southern Plains. It could happen anywhere. October is basically your fall severe weather threat setup compared to what we would see in the spring. Maybe not as advanced, but the jet stream dips south here. Was up here in the summertime north. Now as we head into the fall months, we're getting that jet stream dipping down with some low pressure systems interacting with the warmer moist air, cold dry air behind the frontal systems. Well, that stirs up thunderstorm activity out there. We got a 5% chance for a tornado, 2% chance here for tornado activity around that, and hail and big time wind threats as well for the Wednesday outlook this week. As we head into the Thursday time period, it looks like let's go back here, see where we're at. Day 2, day 3, identical. That's overnight. Wednesday overnight, early Thursday morning. So this is going to be a big time overnight potential as well on Wednesday night, early Thursday for some tornado activity out there across the area. So be on guard, folks. I mean, obviously severe weather can happen at any given time. Look at that low pressure system just waiting out here, waiting for the right opportunity to produce some severe weather, and it's coming. Check this out as we bring up the models here. We got that severe weather line stretching here late Wednesday night into early Thursday morning, a line of severe weather, bringing a lot of heavy rain. These guys need the rain, but they don't need the tornado activity. Hopefully it stays away. But either way, big time setup out here as we venture into Wednesday and Thursday. That will further push off to the east and weaken. California getting in on some rain and some cooler temperatures there. Oregon as well. And maybe potentially another severe weather threat. This looks like April time period. April, May maybe. Goodness, look at the high pressure system out there in the east. That will further amplify the pressure differences out here for that low pressure and create severe weather potential out there as we head into early next week as well. So goodness, they're getting their rainfall, but it comes with a price to pay. And then maybe towards the November 11th time period, we got some further storm systems there for my neck of the woods. Goodness, I've coughed more this time than I have in the last couple nights. I mean, I'm feeling better, but it's lingering. It's an odd one, folks. And that hurricane out there in the Atlantic or Gulf, well, that's not even showing up anymore. And that is good news. That's very good news. Hopefully we'll keep that thing away. No interaction out there to the land for hurricane activity. I think those folks have had enough out there for sure. All right. So seismograph stations out there pretty quiet for now. And as I've noted here, we had a 5-pointer come in right now to the Vanuatu area, but it's technically been pretty quiet out here. A lot of older rings out here, the redder color rings indicating older activity. But I think we watch this globe enough to realize that it doesn't stay that way for very long. Not a lot happening in California for now. Really nothing above 2.5 aside from these 3-pointers out there earlier this morning. I guess we'll just kind of see how this plays out. But quiet conditions prevailing for now. Knock on wood. We'll see how it plays out overnight. Have yourself a good night, folks. We'll catch you guys back out here in the morning time, Tuesday morning. And yes, I am feeling better. I read all you guys' comments. I appreciate it. But I'm not quite there yet. It's odd. It's very odd. I don't even know how to explain it. I'm feeling perfectly well. In fact, I barbecued this evening. But it's like in my voice box or just below that. Similar bronchitis, but there's nothing coming up, so that's really weird. Anyway, enough of my issues. Have a good night. We'll catch you guys later. Utah, stay safe.